All right, here we go. Oh, do I get the? Oh, I don't have the last. I didn't put the last image in. Now I got to put the last image in. Hold on, let me get the last image here.
Joe's
Wait,
at some
you had the rock
calling
thrower.
Joe's at some calling.
Oh yeah, it is the rock
Skype
thrower.
at
You're right.
4
Yeah,
a.m.
it is the rock thrower. There we go. It's because I had it mixed up. That's why. There it is. There it is. Go Lalo. We're good. All right, last video, last topic for tonight is the silent war on pro-Palestine activism and free expression. Here we go, and of course the image here, you can look. Go Lalo. We're proud of Lalo. He was on the David. He actually broke his cherry on the David Rubin show.
He's on Dave Rubin, and
his debut.
he met with Sam Harris and God Sad this week.
That's sad, man. That was awesome. That was a
Guys,
nice picture.
Congrats to him, man.
That was a nice picture with
He's
Sam
my
Harris
boy.
and all those guys. Yeah, it was good. Okay, here we go.
There's been a growing backlash in the West to the BDS movement, which is the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, which is attempting to force Israel into a peace deal.
Did he say BDSM? I think I missed that, but
Probably.
all right, this is a 6-minute video, so write down some notes and let's criticize Kyle here. I'm like, he's okay on most of his
But
points.
this guy immediately out of the gate.
Yeah, this guy's, oof.
And I want to give you a few examples of this from recent stories here. First off, we have this. A billboard in Chicago that says, boycott Israel, it's a pro-BDS billboard, was pulled after protesters said it's anti-Jewish. They have a quote from somebody who complained to the company that put it up, and they said, well, what they're really saying is, it says boycott Israel, what they're really saying is boycott Jews. This is anti-Semitism. So what happened? The company completely buckled under the pressure. They pulled the billboard. Okay, then we have the government in the UK also announcing last week that it's now illegal for, quote, local councils, public bodies, and even some university student unions to refuse to buy goods and services from companies involved in the Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank. They say, hey, if you do that, no government funding whatsoever. We will cut it solely based on the fact that you came out in favor of a movement to boycott Israel to try to stop their illegal settlements in the occupied West Bank. So, in other words, you legally have to be for illegal settlements in the occupied West Bank. If you speak out against it, you're done. All your funding is cut, you're gone. And then we have this. Now, some people might hear what we have so far here, and they say, okay, you got the UK government. They don't have free speech like the U.S. does, or free expression in the same way that the U.S. does. So it's shitty, but hey, that's their legal system. This is, a counter-argument I could imagine somebody making. And to the Chicago one, they could say, all right, but the company that put it up responded to the pressure, so it's not the government restricting speech. It's just the company deciding, hey, they don't want to be part of it because some people are offended. Okay, fine. But what else is happening in the U.S.? Well, let's dive into it. Quote, nearly half the states in the country are considering legislation aimed at countering BDS. Some bills seek to legitimize Israeli settlements or go so far in punishing boycott supporters they infringe on constitutionally protected speech. 2 states, Illinois and South Carolina, passed laws last year mandating state divestment from companies that boycott Israel. Another 11 states are considering similar laws. Kansas and Pennsylvania are debating legislation that would defund universities that participate in an Israel boycott. And another 6 states are considering or have adopted non-binding resolutions condemning Israel boycotts. Damn. So they say half the states in the U.S. are like, okay, how can we shut down free speech and free expression when people say, I want to boycott Israel to stop the illegal settlements. I'm against occupation. You're not allowed to have that. The kingdom has deemed that opinion is not nice, and we don't agree with it. Therefore, you're done. We're going to cut off your funding. We're going to find backdoor ways to limit free speech and free expression. So make no mistake about it. This is an attack on free speech and free expression. And furthermore, this is a way to try to counteract U.S. policy over the last 50 years, on the illegal settlement front. Because the U.S. has said for 50 years, yeah, those are illegal and we don't recognize them. But this is a way to try to change that policy in a backdoor way where they go through all the states and they basically criminalize anybody who supports a boycott to try to prevent the illegal settlements. Oh, this is not good.
Can we stop
This is not
talking?
good.
Can we stop listening to
Now,
Kyle
I
Kalinske?
assume all the free speech warriors
God.
out there, I consider myself
this guy.
part of that, if not one of the leaders of that. I assume all of them will come out and say, look, even if I don't agree with boycotting Israel, and even if I'm not pro-BDS, free speech is free speech, free expression is free expression. This is clearly a way to try to silence people who have that opinion. I'm not in favor of that. I'll wait for the parade of people to follow on this one and say, yeah, that is kind of fucked up. Did you know that in France now, they've pretty much banned being in favor of BDS and voicing that opinion? If you do it, it's considered anti-Semitic hate speech. And that gets to the heart of this issue here. Not only is it a crackdown on free speech and free expression, it also conflates something that it makes no sense to conflate. It says, hey, if you criticize the right-wing policies and the state of Israel, that is equal to anti-Semitism, which is hatred of irrational hatred of Jews, ethnic Jews. That is not the same thing. I vehemently oppose anti-Semitism and hatred of Jews. Of course I do. In the same way I oppose anti-Muslim bigotry, in the same way I oppose anti-atheist bigotry, in the same way I oppose racism and homophobia and everything like that. But I'm allowed to criticize the state of Israel, and it's not anti-Semitic. I'm allowed to criticize the policies of the state of Israel, and it's not anti-Semitic.
Here it is.
To say otherwise is as stupid as saying, you're against the Iraq war, you're anti-American, man. Why ain't you a patriot? That's just a stupid argument. It just doesn't make any sense. It's as stupid as when I come out here and I say, hey, I disagree with the doctrine of Islam. It's wrong. There are parts in the Quran or the Hadith where it talks about stoning gays or throwing them off a building, or that's totally wrong. Is that anti-Muslim bigotry that I said that? Fuck no. I'm against the ideas and the concepts in the holy books. I'm against that. That's not the same as saying I'm an anti-Muslim bigot who hates all Muslims. By the same token, to criticize the right-wing government of Israel is not saying, hey, I hate all Jews. But in Europe now, it's getting to that point where laws are being passed where they say, no, you're not even allowed to say you're in favor of a boycott, divestment, and sanction movement because that's against all Jews. No, that is stupid, and that is a complete attempt at censorship and shutting down free speech and free expression. And they're doing it, by the way, because it's working. Because BDS is the only effective, efficient way that in the long run will force Israel into a two-state solution which recognizes a free and independent Palestine and gives them the right to self-determination.
How about this, Kyle? Fuck Palestine. Fuck the Palestinians. How about that? Start there. You know, I have never seen Kyle defend Israel. You know, when there's attacks by the rock throwers. You know, I've never seen him defend Israel. Have any of you guys?
Nope.
No, I've never seen it either. So I just find it hilarious that this guy is pro-Palestine, doesn't look at the atrocities that are happening against Israel, ignores that, never brings it up. He talks about Jewish atheists that are attacked by Jewish fundamentalists, which was only on one occasion, one instance, but ignores the attacks, the atrocities happening from Palestinians on Israel. You know, going trying to stab fucking, border guards, this and that. He just ignores it.
Yeah, they're all
It's
fuckers.
just so fucking amazing. And I recently called him an anti-Semite, and he, his viewers didn't like that video. And, who was it? Dude, TJ's show. What's that?
Drunken Peasants.
Drunken Peasants called me out on that video. Fucking unbelievable. Well, if you're going to be serious, Kyle, why don't you start talking about the atrocities, the terrorists that are actually affecting Israel? You know, and we can go back in history and look at Israel. We could look at Palestine. We could go back to the biblical era, where the Jews, really, that's their land. They have the right to that land. We go all the way back to the UK, right, Anthony, when it comes to this issue? Do you know a lot about that, Anthony?
Well, England owned everything, basically.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
I mean,
And then they make some kind of allegiance with the Jews,
No,
saying
England's-
that
just England's better
Palestine
than
is
everywhere.
basically, that's their area.
Well, no,
Did I
just
get that
England is the best. That is the fact. I mean, we are the best, and we continue to be the best. And
Jesus
all
Christ, here
we've
we go.
done, basically, is just give up some land
Fuck you, Redcoats.
because we kind of had to. We
Fucking
had to
limey.
do it. So
You know, for a guy,
I don't want people getting bored because the Israel-Palestine thing, it's never going to be resolved. But
It's never gonna be
Israel will
resolved.
prevail, and I'm glad for that.
They
So,
will prevail. There's no doubt, but there's never going to be peace in the Middle East.
exactly,
the whole
and it's
thing
not
is never gonna
it's not
happen.
the most interesting of subjects either.
But we have to call out people
Because
like
nobody has a resolution to it right now.
yeah, like people said. I wish Isaac Cohen was in here because I'm
Fuck
sure
that guy.
I'm sure he's very
Listen to Isaac.
knowledgeable in the issue.
for somebody like Kyle that sits on the fence on just about everything.
He does. He's very neutral, ain't he, man?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
This one, he's pretty much put out there that he's on the side of Palestine.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the
I agree with
Palestinians.
him with the-
Who is?
I agree with the
Kyle is.
point that he tried to make that you just criticizing the state of Israel isn't anti-Jewish. You can do that. I agree with him that if you're saying it's specifically because they're Jews or that type of thing, then it's different.
Yeah, it's
But
different.
if you're just criticizing the state, it's fucking retarded. It'd be like me criticizing the state, United States. All of a sudden, I'm racist against whites or something. I don't know, that type of fucking retardation. He has a point there, but then he goes off on this weird fucking thing. He talks about France. All right, fine. If I don't like the policies of France too, but France isn't the United States, you dick fuck. So I mean, what's your point, right? All right, so you're trying to tie it, saying like, oh, we're just as bad as France here. All right. Well, then you're going about what government funding inside per state, government funding. Well, unfortunately, yeah, that's how they do it sometimes with government funding. That's how they did it with a lot of things. They say it's legal blackmail if you want to go with that, if you want to say that, when it's not legal blackmail because of how they do it. It's government funding. I mean, for fuck's sakes, it's not a like government funding.
we
Did we
lost
lose
him.
him?
Yeah, we lost him.
But I can still see him talking.
No,
Oh.
we lost him. Anthony, Jesus Christ, what are you looking at, dude? I'm looking at
I'm
the
not
fucking freezer.
Apply for government money.
There we go.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
he's back now. Yeah, he's back now.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just like it. I don't like restriction of free expression. I don't like restriction of the First Amendment. But when
I agree.
when you're applying for
course.
government money, it's different. That's the whole point.
So we're pro-Israel, right?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. No, seriously though, man, I'm gonna include a link down below in the description box and another video I watched recently in the last couple of weeks, where they were talking about the history of the Jewish people, going all the way back to biblical times, of course, and it really is wrapped around Palestine and basically how the Jews really have the rights to that land, and there was a lot of intervention, especially with the UK, when it came to that land there. So it's a very informative documentary, and I really love it. It's really good. And I do suggest you guys to really watch that and really grasp on what the history is. We could talk about now what's happening now, this and that. You're not going to have a two-state solution. Just forget that. I think it's never going to fucking happen. Israel should occupy that land.
It's too
Well,
far gone at this point.
Yeah,
I'm
but,
wondering why he puts it all in Israel too, because it's
He
like
does,
all in
yeah.
Israel that it's never going to happen. But as long as Hamas is in control, it's not going to happen because fucking Hamas are terrorists. You're trying to
Correct.
sugarcoat that shit.
Correct. Yeah.
They didn't mention that not
that's
once.
You're Paul. You're 100% right. That's another aspect we failed to mention here. Like what you just did is like we have to look at Hamas too. They have a huge influence in Palestine, with the Palestinians, and they get their hatred towards the Jews from, I'm sorry, that terrorist group, and that's why we see the rock throwers, this and that, and we see Israel defending themselves. That's what it boils down to. It has nothing to do with feeling some kind of sympathy for the Palestinians. Okay, when when they use them as human shields over there in Palestine, and come on, people, there's collateral damage in war. Come on, man. I'm like, we have to really look at it objectively and look at exactly what has happened in history and what is happening now. Are we really going to sit there and support a terrorist group that supports or protects Palestinians? Come on, man. It's pretty much a no-brainer to me, man.
Yeah, if you want to get an idea of what war's like, or what collateral damage is like, listen to Jocko Willink.
So it's
He's
a good
on
one, yeah.
he's on iTunes. Sam Harris did a talk with him. Joe Rogan did a talk with him. The guy is an absolute. I mean, listen to the guy. He talks a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of it's like almost business related. But this is a guy that was one of the main commanders of the Navy SEALs in the Battle of Ramadi in the first Iraq War. And this guy is just amazing. I mean, right now he's advising businesses, and he's doing talks with Sam Harris and other people. I mean, listen to the guy. If you're interested in anything to do with like bettering yourself, watch this guy. Listen to this guy, Jocko Willink. Good guy. Just saying. Throwing it out there.
What I'll do is I'll include his link to the Joe Rogan interview down below for people that.
He's awesome as well, and he does interact with you on Twitter if you follow him.
Oh, that's nice, cool, awesome. But yeah, guys, I'm like, people are saying, there's somebody here. What's the plan? Well, I don't think there's a plan.
What's the plan? That's probably referring to Josh.
Maybe, yeah, probably, right? Yeah. I'm like, what's the plan? I'm like, I don't have a plan.
don't
But
have a
guess
plan.
what? I'm
Never
not.
have a
I'm not going to
plan.
have no two-state solution. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, these people are surrounded by terrorists. What are we supposed to do? Support that? No, we're not going to support that. I'm like, Palestinians.
Of course.
If Palestinians want peace, they really have to, really, have some kind of allegiance and really target Hamas and do something about it, which they really can't do, right? So it's like, it's a very complicated situation, no doubt. But guess what? I support Israel. So I used to be
It's a
pro.
lot of mems and clams.
So you
will
don't
admit,
support BS or BDSM?
I definely support BDSM. Yes, I do. Yes,
Sounds
yes.
like-
BDS.
That's a sex thing, right?
Yeah, Anthony, it's a sex thing. Jesus Christ.
haven't
Man,
done it.
I don't want to know what your sex life is all about. Jesus Christ.
I was just asking.
I know, but
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Go Google
I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. I've never done anything
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
do me a favor. Go Google right now. Docking. DOCKING.
Oh shit!
Yeah, okay.
Go Google
It's
it.
gonna
seriously.
crash his damn computer.
I'm not interested in whatever it is that you're into, Joe. Keep it to yourself, pal. Keep it
Make
to
sure you
yourself.
put safe search
Oh, yeah.
off.
Yeah, safe search off. Correct. I love you guys. It's awesome. Again, we just made it to 11 o'clock. How perfect is that, man? Doesn't get any perfect than that, man, for a show.